Dear Dhamma friends, we are going to start another question and answer session. As usual, we'll start with the written question and invite Vincent to present questions, please.
Venerable Bhante, at yesterday's Chula Sunnatha sermon, you mentioned that there is no necessity for us to go into higher jhana levels to achieve Nibbana. After the fifth jhana, should we try to see anicca, dukkha, anatta in the breath? Please advise. Theruvan Saranai.
General idea is that how much concentration you need to start the journey of Vipassana. It is being mentioned in the Visuddhimagga, the famous commentary, Saupachara Atta Samapatti, starting from the access concentration up to the last Arupa Jhana, whatever may be the whole range, within any time you can go. It utterly depends on your resolute faith. If you have the faith, resolute faith enough, just Upachara Samadhi is enough, you can go there. And whenever you see the impermanent notion, the suffering, nature, and the non-governability, you are not going to keep on testing. Faith itself is deliver you. But if you do not have faith, but analytical mind, as instead of the faith, if you have the wisdom, so to say, so you are not happy about, you wanted to check from the other side, because that you are already experiencing is not resolute enough, not trustworthy enough. You are not trustworthy about your experience. You think books are better, other teachers are better. Go on trying. So you can go up to the 8th jhana, Nissarana, Asanya, each and everything is exit, gateway openings. So there are 17 points according to the Jnanarama. The first Upachara Samadhi, first jhana Upachara Samadhi, and the first jhana. And then the second Upachara Samadhi, second jhana. Third Upachara Samadhi, third jhana. Likewise, 18 jhanas can be multiplied into 2 by 16. And after the jhana, another option, 17 places. So we can't generalize and say it is only the 5th jhana. That is the way the lineages, traditions are starting. Some teacher says, Upachara Samadhi is enough. So that becomes his own tradition. Yet another teacher may say, Upachara Samadhi is not enough, at least first jhana is necessary. That's his own tradition. And the other one says, no, that is not enough. At least there should have Upachara Samadhi, access concentration to the second. That's good. So keep on going. So they are split, hair splitting kind of thing. So therefore very difficult to make a general, common recommendation. It's a subject of Buddha. So all the teachers falling into the Sasana is below the level of Buddha, but the thing is they are overemphasizing. Whenever someone is achieved something through the Upachara Samadhi, they are overemphasizing, so beginners get completely misled. And the other person says, no, it is wrong. I just went to the first jhana, immediately I got it. And then he is overemphasizing. Then the other people. So more and more teachers, the situation become more and more succumb, because definitely your faith is not enough. Your resolute faith is not enough, so much so you keep on going. So, but the thing is, more you do mistake, you become a universal teacher. Each time you are mistaken, you are understanding others' problems. So therefore keep on practicing. It is good for the others rather than your understanding. So just like the failures in the exams become a good tuition masters. It's a universal truth. All the good tuition masters are utter failures of that particular exam, but they can lead others, but they can't. Present-day meditation masters also, it's exactly the same. They are very concerned about how the presentation, how to attract all the kind of people, rather than rechecking one's own stand. So therefore, when and where you associate with the yogis to keep the issues completely open, and this is the danger. Someone will come out say, no, fifth jhana is the one. And then there's a complete exploration you have to do, why it is so. So you keep on overemphasizing. And regarding Venerable Jnanarama, Bhikkhu Bodhi gave an interpretation. Venerable Jnanarama appointed, second jhana is enough. Beyond that, your vitality reduces. And therefore, Bhikkhu Bodhi, I can't remember the source, he says, Venerable Jnanarama, being in Sri Lanka for a long time, being a pioneer, he selected, according to Bhikkhu Bodhi, one of the very pragmatic point, go up to the second jhana and then go to the Nibbana, the Vipassana. That is the 7 stages of purification and Vipassana jhana. That book is based on that kind of a formula. So this is the way it is happening. So don't rush to take one thing. What is true for you may not be applicable in general for the outside. Whatever truth for you, you have to tell others, this is truth for me. You are open to range from the Upachara Samadhi to Atta Samapatti. Whatever it may be, the exit you are going to take is critical, is decisive. It is your own decision.
Dear Bhante, it would be great if the following questions could be answered out of compassion for us. 1. On a previous occasion, Bhante mentioned 4 approaches to attain Nibbana. That is, Samatha Purvangama Vipassana, Vipassana Purvangama Samatha, etc. Could each of these methods be described in detail? And there are 4 sections. Shall I?
No, then we will appoint this as the next year series. I am a burden, I can't go in shortening form. I am expanding like anything. So this may be too big for a retreat. So therefore, when you are given, be contented with this. And of course, no problem suggesting this and that. So I will pass this message to the organizer. And if at all we are meeting again, this will be a good suggestion. Okay, you may continue.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of each method? To which of the above 4 does Shushka Vipassana belong? When it comes to method of practice being followed at this retreat, it is as advised by Bhante, which approach of the 4 mentioned above is being used.
I keep all 4 available. So that is not the problem, because I am not prescribing anything. I try to give information for you to decide. So that may be the problem, rather than spoon feeding. The person may be asking spoon feeding, give me one, and that must be exactly good for me, but I am not omniscient, omnipotent, so I can't take that. I can't prescribe it. I can say these are the ways available, and if you do not know what is applicable to you, what is relevant to you, you are utterly at loss. When you are practicing, you do not know which one is promoting your mindfulness, utterly lost. You are accumulating so much of information, formulas, kind of thing, but no gain. So therefore, that kind of people, more understanding, more problem. More methods, more problem. More teachers, more problem. More time practice, more problem, because they are not pragmatic. So therefore, see which method is going to give release of your tension, frustration. Whatever name may be, just follow. Then that's called the soft end. Follow that method, and if the relaxation of release of the tension is increasing, that is the method. Later you can put a name. Don't worry about the name at the beginning.
Next question, Bhante. Is it humanly possible to be without thoughts? Why are humans constantly thinking? Is the only way to stop continuous thinking is the mindfulness of every bodily action in the present moment? Or if thoughts do occur, can you catch the thought, let go and contemplate on the Dhamma? Was Buddha free of thoughts? I also noticed the mind is much calmer when there are no thoughts. Thank you, Bhante.
No, when you are telling mind is no much calmer, it's also a thought. So you don't know the trick of the mind. So this all the question from right from the beginning to the end, just the magic of the mind. We are not worrying about the thought, we are worrying about the mindfulness. Try to be mindful. And it will take all the other problems, whether it is within the human capacity, whether Buddha is thought and without. Whenever you go for concentration or thought or any kind of thing, you are misdirecting, you are eccentric, enormous question, enormous complications. So it is a matter of simply bring it back to the track, be mindful. And then you can see evolution of thoughts, reducing trend or increasing trend. There is no assurance, but our whole retreat or endeavor is not to fight with thoughts. It is not a problem, of course. Mindfulness is not to get rid of thoughts. From the akinchanyayatana, nevasanjnanasana, it's an achievement to have thoughts. In the nevasanjnanasana, there are some sanya, have and have not. So from have not to have some is an achievement. So therefore you can't say thought is a completely destructive thing, but you must know how to get the main advantage of this and to increase the mindfulness. So therefore, don't lead the discussion to the thoughts. It is none of our business. Our business is what is related to the mindfulness, and thoughts also relevant. Concentration also relevant. Wisdom also relevant. Saddha also relevant. And our main theme, it must not be forgotten, the mindfulness. So all these later questions, this is the simple answer. Bring attention to the mindfulness. Then whether your question is answered or not, I can assure you, you are advancing.
Venerable Bhante, during my walking meditation, I experienced thoughts which connects the watching of the four elements of how it helps to develop metta, karuna, mudita and upekkha. I am so relaxed and happy in the present moment of my walking. This to me means I have metta towards my body. I see that what I experience within my own body, others experience as well. This to me means karuna, the gladness I feel when I am furthering in my practice to me means mudita. And finally, now that I can see phenomena arising and passing without agitation to me means upekkha. I watched this thought and saw the beginning, middle and the end. I see this as an improvement in my practice. In the early part of the retreat, and as my mindfulness was developing, and I saw different things. For example, cessation, flux, etc. I had feelings of, so what? How is this group to help me with my home life? Group to help me with my... How is this going? How is this going to help me with my home life? I now see more clarity in how I can directly apply the experience using metta, karuna, mudita and upekkha. Please can you provide further guidance on this matter?
There are a number of ways when you are practicing from this Brahma Vihara side, one thing. Other thing is your social relationship with others. Next thing is to get the highest economic life, political life, social, everything is endowed with. Different people give it different trends according to their present cross-section. But the mindfulness is in a totality. So when and where you keep on mindful, your total brain is going to work. But each and every time new neurobic is working, it appears like writing a book. Appear like a more than PhD thesis. It's so revealing. So when Jnananda used to say, when the mindfulness is given, it's like you feel like a flat. Anything you can pick from any place. Everything is in a nice network. So each person writing according to the novelty they are experiencing, and endless. The ways it is happening, endless. So therefore, early adventures appear very, very hilarious, very, very oceanic. But when you go further and further, you can't think about the mind of the Buddha. and the teachers brought this lineage after us, how much they would have entertained the human life, how we are just like a firefly. We have very little thing, and that only we are boosting. But in the mindfulness, opening the doors and windows, very difficult to limit into a language, very difficult to limit into a religion, very difficult to limit into any creed. So this openness happen. So for the sublime situation is one way of opening, no end. So therefore, that is the biggest kalyana mitta, like the biggest investment we are doing. But unfortunate enough, no one understands the potentiality, the possibility of mindfulness. They always try to keep something in front of the mindfulness. So cut the road, but keep the mindfulness full open, give the help, give the chair, and nothing to worry. Then that it is going with the completely natural way, completely balanced way, and you are just like in a chauffeur-driven car. The driver is full assured. So driver will take care. Either you can sit in the front seat or behind, or you can sleep. He knows the destiny. So once the chauffeur appointed, don't try to be a backseat driver. Then you are totally messing it up. It's a professional chauffeur. But if you have appointed Saddha as a chauffeur, or Virya, Samadhi, Panya, maybe you have to be a backseat driver. But in the mindfulness, don't play fool. If the full-fledged, it knows everything. So therefore, the trustworthiness, credibility of mindfulness is, for me, almost like Nibbana. Whenever you go off the line, rationalization, justification, everything necessary. But when you take everything to the mindfulness and say, the mindfulness is take care, and as far as I am, try to be mindful, I am in Nibbana. I am completely emancipated because mindfulness has taken. So therefore, this is one way, but don't limit it to this thing. But anyway, this is the way we are communicating with others, but don't think this as the totality. This is a partial knowledge. These are some little branches. And let it happen, let it branch out in an incessant way to the ultimatum, and then only you can feel living. Otherwise, your life is utterly partial.
Two more questions. Dear Bhante, you recently mentioned an interesting Dhamma fact from possibly a Sutta, in which you mentioned an analogy involving a needle and sesame seeds. Could you kindly let us know where we can find this interesting thing from the Pali Canon?
It is not the sesame, it is mustard seeds. Sesame also valid, or sand. Yavasuka Sutta is almost close to that. It is presenting the same thing from a different viewpoint. This must be Sukha. You have to go in Tripitaka and see Sukha. Is the one known as needle. And not only one occasion, number of occasions the Buddha mentioned, keep the needle up, nothing can surpass you. When the needle flat, everything come in, you get succumb to situation. So as far as the needle is upright, it has so much of power. So that is what you call the diligence. That's what you call the mindfulness. So I will try to look at into the Tripitaka and see if possible. I'll give it, but otherwise take time and read the Tripitaka whole. No harm. No harm. Instead of reading these newspapers and bullshit, take time. Read it as much, even if you don't have any Pali knowledge. Even if you don't have any kind of a Sinhalese knowledge or English, read it again and again. Never mislead it. It's the biggest literature, aesthetic thing on the earth, and it's the only highest corpus not right reserved. All the other bullshit you find in the book, right reserved. Don't copy. Copyright. Buddha giving the totality, not reserved. You see the world, you see the madness in the world. All the bad things are very difficult to earn. The total good thing already endowed. That we are searching with all the difficulties, all the limited things, giving this totality is there. And now we are lucky because for the last 30-40 years, there are so much of people reading Tripitaka or Suttas, and therefore now things are coming. But earlier, when I go to Burma, the person who took me Burma told, don't touch Sutta Pitaka unless otherwise you complete the grammar, complete the commentary, you have no rights to touch. Just like there's a one sect in Pentecostal law. They can't touch the Bible. Only the Father can touch. People can't touch it. Likewise, Tripitaka is given only for the people who are complete with grammatical understanding Pali and commentarial, then only Tripitaka. Whenever Jnanarama is told, leave aside, take Majjhima Nikaya, read as much as possible. Start with Majjhima Nikaya. It's a lovely, not love story, but lovely stories. Whenever you find copyright, throw that away. Nothing you miss.
Bhante, the final letter, written letter. In yesterday's talk, Bhante said mindfulness or sati is the forerunner. Am I correct in saying to increase sati, we get hold of a primary object, for example, breath in my case, and stay one-pointed focus on this primary object? Does this mean you are increasing your concentration as well as one of the requirements in the Eightfold Noble Path? So, eventually as concentration increases, your mindfulness also increases. Do the two help each other out? I noticed I am beginning to be more mindful of the things now than when I was at the beginning of the retreat. So I was wondering, with practice of focusing on one primary object has gradually made me more mindful of my actions. Could you please clarify, Bhante? Thank you.
So that's why you try to find a unavoidable variable to the mindfulness as an object. It is true as far as 4 Rupa Jhanas are concerned. Whenever Rupa Jhana gone, you practice mindfulness without object. That is the most subtle part. Akasananja, Vijnanajayata, Akinchanyayata, Nevasanyana. You understand mindfulness is at the beginning, need railings for the child to get up and to how to walk. But once backbone is okay, throw away the railings, you can walk without object. So that is the way going to give us some limitation for the mindfulness. This is true. This is true for a beginner. They must have a kind of a rail, kind of a guidance, kind of a benchmark, kind of a reference point. So when in surveying, as far as you are collecting data, each day you go and keep the theodolite exactly on the same point so that you can reinforce one day's data to the others. In the blueprint also, the benchmark is very, very crucial. But for the final plan, benchmark is not mentioned. When you give the plan to the customer, benchmark is not mentioned. But if he is even another surveyor or leveler, he will ask, give me the blueprint where the benchmark is necessary. Because benchmark is, if you are showing the benchmark at the map, you are not a professional person. So when the mindfulness is come up to its maturity, it knows how to deal without an object, because the object is a material thing. One day we have to surpass it and go to the other part. There, if you are going to say object is a must, then you are pulling back again to the preliminary parts or immature state of your mind. You never allow mindfulness to become full-fledged, mindfulness to fly. So therefore, this is true for a beginner, but don't take it as a norm. Or written questions are over. We have almost 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes.
Bhante, this is a question from one of the previous Dhamma talks. So basically, it's on manifestation of 4 elements. So as I understood, you mentioned one must catch it at the start. So before it manifests, like for instance, most of the time people realize when it's middle or end. So what you said is we should, I think you used the example of dependent origination as well. Look at it from the start to end, arising and passing of it. So the question is, I tried to practice that this morning when I was meditating. There was a pain in my knee. So at that point, obviously I've recognized it's a pain. So a thing like pain, how can you practice? How can you grab it at the start and then not and see the process? So in this case, I obviously realized it later on in the middle, and I look through it and then look at the scenario, the process, and then it disappeared. But the question is, how can I grab it at the outset, at the start?
Theoretically, you can sort it out, this question, to a great extent, and then we can rephrase the question. Theoretically, the Buddha get the materialistic object, substance, and see there the beginning, the middle, and the end. You made a statement, we missed the beginning, but we may catch it at the middle or end. That's also very refined. We catch only in the middle. We can't catch the beginning or the middle. That is what the ignorance means. Because we are fearful. So, middle is okay. But don't go for immaterial thing at the beginning, because you have to develop the mindfulness to the steadfast situation. So, therefore, you take the breath, rising and falling, left leg, right leg, something, materialistic phenomena, and let that manifest. That manifestation is just the tip of the iceberg. So, you know it is. You must only thing is, you see, but it is just nothing but the tip of the iceberg. It is your perception. Whatever prop up to your perception level, you can see. But you have to understand the whole iceberg is nine parts, only 1/10 is up there, balance is down. So if you have to, that understanding is the only thing is asking. Don't go and search for the down. You just see the tip of the iceberg and understand. And one day you will see it's always in the bell-shaped curve. Even the iceberg, even the population, the graph, everything in the world is a bell-shaped curve. So you start with the middle and you understand this is not the beginning, this is not the end, this is the only rough, tangible part. And you know this is not the world, this is only materiality. So that very clarity at the beginning is very important rather than you go to the pain. If you leaving aside that, even not developing the mindfulness to catch the beginning, the middle and the end, or understand the mere middle of materiality, and you to be clearly comprehend this is materiality, jumping to pain means it's immature. These are the cheating nature of our mind. These are the perverted nature of the mind. Doing first thing first, it's very simple, very innocence, beginner's mind. We always try to be smart. Each and every time you become eccentric. You get utterly entangled. Never mind, that is the way. Always try to come back to the source again and again, see what make me to prompt, jump into the immaterial part, while my materiality or rationalization of my understanding or my comprehension also not up to the mark. So this is the understanding that I am jumping, always negating, always self-denying. When someone is telling it, appear like you are inferior. But in a discussion, we can bring it up and leave aside all the conceit and kind of thing. You can just tell. So other party should have complete authority to analyze it. And then you can see different viewpoints, weak points, loopholes, and if you are innocent enough to understand, that argumentation becomes yours. Next time you can say, first thing first, don't worry about. The Buddha says, Dikang vasa santo dikang asa samiti pajanati, rasang vasa santo rasang asa samiti pajanati, sabbakaya patisangvedi asasi samiti sikha. That's the point where you can see the beginning, the middle and the breath even. And after that, after qualifying that Pasambhaya and Kaya Sankarang only, you can go to the Vedana. So if you go there, it is like you are going to give high protein food for an infant. You wanted to make it big, and because of your love, you are going to give high protein. But their digestive system is not mature enough. It only can suck milk or half-boiled things. Instead, if you are going to give, that's the way the smartness of our mind. So therefore, always see things as they are, and to develop the beginner's mind and express yourself unjudgmentally. The other person come and interfere into your meditation. But if you think, no, I do not like to expose myself, everything I must get from the theory, or I must get the complete package one day, never. Only through the trial and error. So therefore see the weaknesses, and next time also go there and see when and where you see your primary object, if at all, how much you can keep the primary object in view with. Ultimately that is leading to from the middle to the beginning and then to the end. To see the primary object, the tip of the iceberg, is called Namarupa Paricheda Jnana. And see the peak as at the beginning is called Paccapariggha Jnana. Whenever someone sees the beginning through the middle to the end, that is called Sammasana Jnana. They are invented later. In our tradition, in the Mahasi Sayadaw's this treatise, that is the biggest part he has explained. So much of thickness in Sammasana Jnana, whenever someone going to see not only the middle, not only the beginning, but through the beginning, through the middle, to the end, he sometimes feel like enlightened. So much enthusiasm, so much information, so much possibilities, he can't imagine what happened. But they have not seen yet the tiny particle. They see patches, they see lumps. And in lump, you can see the beginning, the middle, and the end. Then you are qualified to become Vipassana, but you must not overestimate it. Telling, this I have seen not tiny particles, I have seen for the whole batch, whole agglomeration, whole patch. So now we have to go deeper and deeper, make it first as tiny as possible, and see the same game what you have seen in the patch in a tiny particles. So that is what the scrutiny, that is what the way it is becoming sharp. And then onward you are in Vipassana. So therefore, first thing first is the common answer for this question.